My name is Rachel and I'm 35 years young. For almost 10 years, I've shared my life and marriage with James. Our marriage has always been robust, yet lately it seems there's a distance between us. Our routine had woven itself into the fabric of our relationship, and I felt a compelling urge to seek out fresh paths to rekindle the spark that once brought us together. While chatting with my younger sister, I experienced a profound insight. At 30, Lucia consistently showcased a higher degree of extroversion and confidence than I did. Her free-spirited approach to life captivated me, leading me to ponder the possibility of inviting a third person into our dynamic. Imagine if that person were Lucia. The idea both terrified and captivated me. I couldn't help but ponder how James and Lucia would react if I were to introduce something so surprising to them. I shook my head, trying to push that thought away, but curiosity had firmly planted itself in my mind. During dinner that evening, I decided to introduce the idea to James. In a nuanced way, I found myself unsure of his response, yet grasping his viewpoint was essential to me. In an effort to maintain a sense of ease, I started to focus on keeping things light. How do you feel about couples who embark on new adventures together in their relationship? Explore methods to involve an additional person in the scenario. James looked at his plate, surprised by my question. Are you talking about a trio? He asked, arching an eyebrow. Absolutely. I replied in a similar vein, a hint of anxiety creeping in. It's just a passing idea, not something to dwell on too much. I'm curious if something like that could help us shake up our routine. He seemed to pause and reflect for a moment before replying. The outcome truly depends on the specific circumstances at play. Do you have someone special occupying your thoughts? My heart pounded with excitement. I felt compelled to express my thoughts. I'm uncertain at the moment. We might want to think about someone we trust, like Natalie. James's eyes flew open in astonishment, his lips sealed in silence. His response left me in a state of curiosity. In the days that followed, the concept became a focal point of our discussions. James seemed to be pondering it, yet we hadn't brought the subject back up. He asked if I had made a mistake by mentioning it. One evening, as we settled in for some TV time, James chimed in. So, Natalie was on board, right? Would you like to explore this opportunity further? He asked with a serious demeanor. His question took me by surprise, but it also sparked a newfound courage within me. Absolutely, but only if you feel comfortable with the concept as well. I honor your decisions and have no intention of imposing anything upon you. I chose to stay quiet. He exhaled slowly. While I could consider it, gaining insight into Natalie's perspective is essential for me first. James' willingness to explore new possibilities inspired me to take the next step. I engaged in a conversation with my sister. Natalie received an invitation from him to share a coffee together. Our connection has always been deep, yet delving into such personal matters left me feeling somewhat uncomfortable. I realized she wasn't the type to pass judgment, but I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. Natalie, there's a topic I'd love to chat with you about. I started by carefully selecting the right words, making sure to strike a balance between being engaging and relaxed. She looked at me with a mix of astonishment and delight. Are you inviting me to join you and James in this new experience? She asked, trying to hold back a grin. It's completely reasonable to feel that way, but don't forget to prioritize your own comfort with the concept. I replied, a touch of shyness creeping in. To my surprise, Natalie chuckled and replied, Rachel, I never anticipated you would propose something like this, but I must admit, the idea is beginning to resonate with me. We invested time in exploring how the situation would develop. It was essential for me to establish clear guidelines to ensure that everyone feels secure and comfortable. I shared with Natalie my hope that this won't affect our sisterly bond. She conveyed her dedication to respecting all boundaries and highlighted her intention to steer clear of any actions that could adversely affect James or me. That evening, I shared with James the details of my conversation with Natalie. A wave of relief washed over me at his openness, even as I noticed the hint of nervousness in his demeanor. As the day drew near, I felt a mix of eager anticipation and nervousness, even though I had been initially thrilled. I began to feel a spectrum of emotions. Excitement bubbled within me at the thought of stepping outside my everyday routine and exploring fresh adventures alongside James. On the flip side, I was engulfed by my fears. What transformations could take place if James began to see Natalie through a different lens? What if she started to feel more profound emotions for him? Could I handle what was about to happen? Natalie exuded her usual air of composure. A few days ago, she reached out to ensure everything was in order and to verify that I was still moving forward with the idea. Rachel comforted me, assuring that all would be well. She proposed we pause to unwind and savor our environment, although her voice carried the familiar hint of worry. James seemed to be filled with anxiety. Despite my efforts to hide it, I could tell he was genuinely worried about how I felt. One evening, as we settled in for the night, I decided it was time to address the issue. Can you recognize the worth in this viewpoint? Consider taking this step for your own benefit too. Indeed, I engaged in conversation with him, taking note of his expression in the soft, muted light. He grasped my hand gently. Rachel, I'm ready to move forward because I believe in your abilities, but it's crucial that you feel confident too. This approach will yield results if we both feel comfortable with it. Her response offered a fleeting sense of solace. Yet, the discomfort in my stomach lingered, indicating that I was nearing a threshold I had never considered before. In the end, we determined that the best way to address this situation would be to transform it into a memorable evening. Lucia suggested we host dinner at our home to create a welcoming atmosphere and promote connection. It seemed like a sound choice, so we set our plans in motion. This afternoon was spent meticulously arranging the house. I arranged the space with fragrant candles and soothing music, making sure everything was perfectly in place. Prepare yourself for an intriguing experience that you won't want to miss. Lucia confided her thoughts to me. As Lucia stepped into the kitchen, James was busy setting up the wine glasses. I noticed that his gaze held on him for a moment longer than usual. I told myself to avoid overthinking the situation, but a twinge of jealousy still crept in. The evening began with a serene ambience. We engaged in conversations about daily matters. We talked about our jobs, envisioned our future, and reminisced about our childhood memories. Everything seemed ordinary with Lucia, but an unmistakable tension lingered just beneath the surface. Every time our gazes intertwined, I felt the weight of the moment that awaited us. Lucia, true to her genuine self, sparked a conversation with an unexpected comment. Clearly, we are all on the same page regarding the reason for our meeting. Could it be time to recognize that this dinner carries greater importance than we may be admitting? Her candidness infused the moment with a refreshing lightness, alleviating the tension for both James and me. As the evening unfolded, the wine relaxed everyone, creating a comfortable atmosphere. Lucia began interacting with James in a playful way that I wholeheartedly endorsed. Rachel, your husband truly has a remarkable taste for wine. He clearly possesses a strong appreciation for a wide range of things. She shot James a knowing look. Despite the casual nature of her words, I felt my heartbeat quicken. I found myself intrigued by the prospect of observing the bond that could develop between James and my sister, someone I hold in high regard. Following dinner, we moved to the living room. The low lighting, gentle melodies, and tranquil ambience created the perfect backdrop for the experience that was about to begin. Lucia settled into the seat next to James while I stood before them, watching intently. Rachel, are you feeling assured about this choice? Lucia addressed me with a gravity I had never experienced from her previously. I nodded, even as a whirlwind of conflicting emotions stirred within me. Absolutely, I stand firm in my choice, I replied, working to calm my mind. James looked my way, searching for a hint of reassurance in my face. I aimed to make sure he felt no pressure while also gauging his willingness. Finally, I found my voice. It's time to let things unfold naturally, I remarked, taking a sip of my wine and offering him a taste to calm my nerves. Lucia walked over to James and rested her hand on his shoulder, a soft gesture of reassurance. The action was humble, yet it carried significant weight. James remained nearby, and I found myself navigating a whirlwind of emotions that were challenging to grasp. In mere moments, the atmosphere in the living room transformed dramatically. The gentle flicker of candlelight cast delicate shadows across the walls, while the music, barely perceptible, seemed to stand as the quiet witness to the unfolding moment. Lucia sat beside James, radiating a tranquil confidence. A mix of nervousness, curiosity, and longing washed over me as I stood before them. Lucia adjusted her posture just a bit and, with her signature relaxed vibe, sparked a conversation to break the silence. James, are you ready for this? I tackle every endeavor with unwavering dedication. His voice held a subtle challenge paired with a reassuring tone, as if he sought to confirm that we were all on the same page. James looked my way, searching for one last sign of encouragement. In that fleeting instant, our eyes locked, and I felt time itself come to a standstill. In the face of uncertainty, I realized that stepping back was simply not an option. I gave a nod, and he seemed to relax slightly. Lucia leaned in closer to James, creating a moment of connection. The kiss was soft, resonating more as a confirmation than a mere gesture. I carefully observed every detail, striving to grasp the emotions that were unfolding inside me. While I wouldn't call it jealousy, there was definitely an unsettling sensation as I observed my sister and my husband together in that way. Yet an unusual intrigue captivated me, leaving me motionless and unable to take any action. James accepted the kiss. James, though reserved, was undoubtedly aware of my presence and the delicacy of the moment. Lucia, on the other hand, navigated the situation with remarkable ease. Rachel, let's immerse ourselves in this experience together instead of you feeling like a bystander. Her insights illuminated the fact that my insecurity was a barrier to my progress. With a deep breath, I made my way over and settled into the seat opposite James. He grasped my hand, a clear sign of relief washing over him, as if seeking comfort in my presence beside him. Lucia glanced my way and offered a reassuring nod, a silent reminder of the bond we shared. James, this is a chance for us to evolve side by side. Rachel, I urge you to trust me. Despite the comfort his words provided, he understood that the situation had arrived at a pivotal moment. The evening unfolded with a powerful emotional charge as we ventured into the uncharted realms of connection and vulnerability, where every action marked a bold step into the unknown. James was incredibly attentive, making sure I felt completely at ease during our time together. Lucia, on the other hand, tackled the situation with a distinctive confidence that set her apart. As the night unfolded, the barriers we had constructed over the years began to falter. Lucia and James exhibited a chemistry that took me by surprise, unveiling dimensions of our dynamic that I had never contemplated and certainly did not anticipate. While I recognized this was part of the deal, a wave of unease washed over me as I observed how my sister managed to evoke a playful side of James, a side that had been missing for far too long. Yet, each time I felt the dynamics changing, Lucia would cast a glance my way as if seeking reassurance of my presence in that moment. Rachel, keep in mind that this is for the benefit of all three of us. Lucia met my gaze and offered a reassuring nod, a silent reminder of the bond we shared. Her gesture offered comfort, but it also underscored the intricate nature of the situation I was facing. James, on the other hand, discovered he was trapped in the middle of our dynamic. Every move he made seemed to mirror his emotions for me, while also hinting at an exploration with Lucia. There were moments when I felt a profound sense of security and connection with both, yet at other times I sensed that I had cracked open a door that could linger ajar for an endless stretch of time. As the night came to an end, a calmness settled over the house. As James and I made our way to our room, Lucia peacefully slipped into slumber in the guest room. We remained silent, lost in our individual thoughts and reflections. The following morning, while brewing my coffee, I realized it was time to contemplate the events that had unfolded. James stepped into the kitchen a moment later, his face reflecting a serene yet thoughtful demeanor. How do you feel about your present circumstances? I broke the silence, stepping into the stillness. He let out a breath and turned his gaze toward me. I find it challenging to express my thoughts clearly. It was unique, but what really counts is how you felt, Rachel. I trust this won't change the dynamics between us. His words offered comfort, but they also encouraged me to recognize that, although everything seemed fine, there had been a change within me. We had arrived at a pivotal moment, and though I held no regrets, I recognized that our relationship would evolve from here on out. Lucia arrived soon after, infusing the atmosphere with her vibrant energy and playful spirit. He savored his coffee, reflecting on the delightful evening he had just experienced. It sparked deep reflection. James and I exchanged a knowing look. To Lucia, it seemed that every experience was just another chance for us to learn and evolve. The experience was truly profound. In the days that followed, James and I engaged in a conversation about the events that had transpired. We both understood that the experience was unique, yet we agreed it was not something we wanted to relive. Although everything was fine, we understood that the emotional complexities of the situation were better left untouched as we moved ahead. Lucia seemed to have transitioned quickly. She continued to be my vibrant and delightful sister, and our connection remained unchanged. That held great importance for me. As time went on, I began to see that night as a distinctive chapter in our shared journey, an experience that deepened our connection and comprehension of each other. Yet, I came to understand that certain fantasies are most enjoyable when experienced in their purest state. Creative visions? The story has come to an end. If you're curious to dive deeper into captivating tales of secrets and deception, simply click on one of the videos showcased on the screen. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for your daily dose of fresh stories.